Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be speaking about dream time. Uh, what are things that we need to know within dream time while we're sleeping? Are there aspects within dream time that we can actually manipulate? Which there are. So I wanted to bring this to you guys' attention to where you can actually get into your dreams and do certain things to where you know that these things are happening, and then you can, it's almost like subconsciously during the day, we need to start doing certain activities through the day to be able to understand what, and then when we get into dream time, while you think about these things during the day, you automatically realize that you're sleeping. And when you're sleeping and you're in the dream, that's when you're like, am I awake or am I asleep? Oh, I'm asleep. And then you can start messing with your dreams. And that's going to be part of what we're going to be doing today. Is we're going to dial into the Akashics to figure out what is going to be a good way to be able to manipulate dream time. Certain aspects that I do that I learned how to really lucid dream easily was when you're awake. You probably need to do it for about a week or so, maybe even more if it doesn't really relate. And you need to sit there and look at your hands and set a clock like every 3 hours during the day and through the night. Maybe not all night, but maybe 1 or 2 alarms to go off during your sleep that would make you recognize, okay, so when you're awake and this alarm goes off, you put on the alarm, am I awake or am I asleep? And when you're doing that, you're looking at your hands, and while you're awake, you look at them and you're like, oh, no, I'm awake. And then the next dream, or the next time you see it, or the alarm goes off, you'll be awake. But you still look at your hands and you say, am I awake or am I asleep? As a couple days go by with these alarms, while you're asleep and you hear that alarm, it's starting to register. And then while you're in dream time, you're going to say, am I awake or am I asleep? And they're going to be like, oh shit, I'm asleep. And that's when you can start messing with your dreams. And that was one of the things that I learned, and to be able to really start changing my dream cycles. Because we can do anything we want to in the dreams. But there's things inside of our dreams, because our dreams are our higher self, in a sense. So when we're in a dream state, that is our higher self relaying our subconscious needs, or what our life is to maybe need to be changed. And then when we come back to reality after we wake up, we look at these things and we're like, what did that mean? Actually, that's probably your subconscious telling you something's fucked up, or you need to change it, or something like that. Now, after I started doing it, the first thing that happened with me, I was doing that, and I was driving my car in the dream. And as I was driving the car in the dream, I pull up towards, there's an alleyway going in between these two like townhomes. And there was a man on this side, and he had his little grandchild on a tricycle. And then there was another man on this side. This is where it gets a little weird, right? So the thing is, inside dreams, if you're doing lucid dreaming to where you manipulate your dreams, there are angels, there are demons, there are spirits, there is everything inside these worlds too. But normally when you're in dream time, like if you've had a nightmare, that's because you was around some demon and you never got away from that in your dream. And that's why you have a lot of nightmares, because you don't understand how to get away from these demons, or you don't recognize the demons. So when I was stopping the car, I stopped and I got out of the car, which in the dream originally it was happening, and I was supposed to drive through the alley. I was not supposed to stop at where these people were. I slammed the brakes on in the car, threw the car in park, which I wasn't even supposed to do this, and I got out and I started talking to homeboy over here. Come to find out, he was more of an angelic person, and then that was actually his it was a boy, and the boy was actually having a dream, and he was inside of my dream. But the thing is, when you're seeing people in dreams, if they're really dialed in and if they know how to lucid dream, they are always able to see you in the dreams. They're in the dream with you. So these dreams are actually correlating with everybody else that's in these dreams. So if people are really dialed in, they're in the dream, and they'll know that you know that they're in the dream. And then when they wake up, they remember you in the dream. But a lot of times people aren't really dialed in, so they don't know if you really realize that they were in the dream. But if they are dialed in, they remember the dream as well. And so that's another thing we have to think about. So everybody inside these dreams are actually having the same dream, just like me and you. And if you would be over on the other side of this table speaking to me, it's the same shit, just in our higher selves. So as I learned certain aspects, one place that I learned some aspects was through a doctor friend of mine, and his mother was a hippie back in the 50s. Well, there's the Temple of Ek. It's called Ekankar, and they claim that their god Hu is like the highest god of the land. I'm not saying it ain't. I want to channel on that. That's another thing that came up. So I want to channel on Hu. I want to channel on Jehovah. I want to channel on all these different little gods that is inside these books to figure out what they are. So today, what we're going to be doing is what are the things that's going to be helping us to be able to manipulate Dreamtime. But before you do that, make sure and remind yourself, set an alarm. If you don't know how to really dial into your dreams, do what I just said. Set an alarm, at least 3 during the day, 1 maybe earlier in the night, and then 1 but maybe an hour or 2 before you wake up. So if you normally wake up around, say if you have to go to work early, set it around 4, and then that's going to be like your real deep cycle. So you're really dreaming, even though you don't even know you're dreaming. And then when I'm awake, am I asleep? And then you realize, oh shit, I'm asleep. And then you can start messing with your dreams and doing what I do. But you have to make sure and recognize and feel these things, because that man that was over there, he was more of an angelic, and then the boy was having his own dream within my dream. And then the other man, when I started walking across the street, he was actually a demon within the dream. And that's why, for some reason, why did I go to this person first and then end up going to the demon? But the thing is, you start feeling this demonic energy, and it's like he was wanting to latch out. So I jumped back in the car, and I took off through the alley, and I let the dream continue the way that it was supposed to go. But that was my first experience of really manipulating my dreams and doing what I wanted to do rather than allow the dream to go in its own cycle. And we can do that every night if you know how to really dial into these dreams. And that's one way to be able to do it. Okay, so I've already opened up my Akashics, and we're going to be channeling what we can do to be able to manipulate our dreams, how we can be able to get in a better cycle within our dreams, so we can be able to really analyze these things on like a good basis, right? So what are things that are able to help us to be able to manipulate the dream time? So they're saying after you, there are certain things that always happens in the dream. So they're showing like a lot of times if there is numbers in the dream, it's showing like a number of people. Think about the numbers and the people, because it's like that. Okay, so they showed me a group of people within a dream. And when you have these dreams with all these people, the numbers normally correlate with something that's going on in your life. It could be even your birthday, your partner's birthday. It could be something else. I don't know. I ain't you. I just know how I do mine too. But sometimes I do look at. Sometimes I'll come to a dream and there'll be 3 elevators, and then you won't get in one elevator, and then there's another elevator that's full, and then you end up getting in the 3rd elevator. You get what I mean? And you have to think about those things. So as we start to manipulate the dream time, what are things that we need to know during it? They said when you're in these dream states, the thing is there are things on each cycle of like this world and our higher self world while we're in the dream time. So while you're in there and you're around something, or if you feel something that doesn't feel right, you need to back away immediately, because they can actually leach into astral threads and be able to attach to you through astral threads while dream time if you're actually doing it and not recognize what you're doing. So you could actually, so there's So they're showing like this thing can actually follow you back, almost like soul travel. And that's going to be something else that I want to get into, soul travel, and how to learn how to do that. So as after people manipulate the dreams, is there something else that can be, what are certain things that we can do to be able to manipulate dreams to make us activate faster? They're saying that after you start thinking about it, your subconscious already is like active. So that one thing that I just said is probably one of the things that's going to be activating your subconscious to where it's going to automatically relay the information, because it seems like you really don't have to have many options. We're all interconnected with this realm, because they're showing like the world that we're in, and then another world, and that's just our higher self living in that dimension. It's almost like another world within a world within itself. So, but the thing is with like angels, demons, entities, they live in these different realities, so they're able to shift and then leech off people and then come back and forth through all these different places. Even though we don't even understand what we're doing. One time I was even thinking, what if what we're doing today, you sitting here on this damn thing watching me, what if this is the dream and actually Dreamtime is our real life? I don't know. So that's another thing. How do we know these differences? We don't. Just like how I feel like we had to die from the heavenly realms to come here, so we're already dead. So when people start to die today, what are they doing? They're actually living. They have to die here to go live again. And so I see this a lot different than a lot of people, because people die and they're like, woohoo, somebody's dead. Well, if I die, don't cry for my ass, because I need to get the hell out of this piece, because these people are fucking nuts. They nuts, and they think that they on the right track. And then other people think that their world is true when they are the most fucked up of all. And then you're just sitting back looking at them like, what the hell is going on up in here? Am I here? Am I here today? I just feel bad for the people in the hospitals today that still having to wear masks. I understand their shit, right? Their shit. Everybody's going to get the shit. Everybody's going to live with the shit. That's why I take nanosoma. My partner, he works in the damn hospital. What's funny is he thought I was damn whacked out when I was talking about nanosoma to him a long time ago, saying, that shit's expensive. You don't need to be using that shit. Well, come to find out, I have been around tens of people that have all been COVID positive, no mask, no nothing, and I still have not had COVID the first time. And we had a big house party. His in-laws came over here. They flew in from Cancun, right? Well, when they flew in from Cancun, come to find out, they all had COVID. His parents had COVID. His aunts and uncles had COVID. All the other in-laws had COVID. We ended up having a house party over here. They all had COVID. And I was like, I'm not putting on a damn mask. And as time's gone, now when he hears somebody has COVID, what's the first thing he does? Shoots that shit under his tongue. Exactly. Who crazy now? Who crazy now? I was crazy, but I research, I think about these things. I'm not saying it can't happen. Nanosoma, what it does is it goes into your body and it heals your body on a cellular level. What your body does not naturally need to have reoccurring in the body, it dumps it, seals your body on a like a nano particulate level. So it seals your body on a cellular level, and then it keeps anything that's harmful like that out. And that's what I take every day. And I don't take the normal dosage, because if I don't leave the house, I don't have to take it. But if I know I'm around somebody, I'll do the normal dosage, but I still haven't had anything yet. And I ain't concerned. I ain't concerned about that shit. Why should I be concerned about that shit? What I picked up a long time ago was the people that die from it is actually, it was a life cycle that they already had written out on the contract before they ever even arrived. So, but when they were there, they were like looking at the TV screen, because when we were up there in the heavenly realms, we're over here with this TV screen, and we're like, I want this shit to happen to me so I can grow and I can learn. Well, the bitch is going to grow and learn, but you don't remember that you did this over here on the other side. You picked your family, you picked your accident. Actually, some of the accidents you have, sometimes it's a hex, and then they can change it, and then they can be able to put you on a timeline, a different timeline. So there's different aspects within that, right? So sorry, sidetrack. Okay, what are the things that can activate Dreamtime? So they're saying if you actually, if you have some crystals, they're saying what they said, certain crystals do work better than others. But if something is attracted to you, and if you feel like you have more connection with that crystal, so say, okay, I'm going to bed tonight, and I want to pick up a crystal, and I want to sit it underneath the bed to help activate the space. What you need to do is either put it in the sunlight for the sunlight to purify the rock, or put it in the full moon. It doesn't matter. I do either one. And sometimes, now, another thing you have to know is if you're too dialed in and you have electrical devices around your bed, that can mess with you, and it can actually cause demons to work through the higher self while you're in a sleep state. So like if you have magnetic charging devices, get it out of your room, get it in another room. I've had this happen to me because I was having nightmare after nightmare after nightmare, and one of my psychic friends was telling me, I see something beside your bed that's electrical. And she said it's more of a magnetic electrical. And come to find out, I had a magnetic charging thing. And she said that they are working through the energy that's charging your phone, and then they can manipulate the brain, the space of the dreams even more to be able to cause you these nightmares. And then they can actually form, because you're within that dream space, they're going to start manipulating more and more, and then you'll grow into be like an entity that can actually prey upon you. So you have to pay attention to certain things. So what you need to do is take these crystals, one that you're attracted to, right? If you have some crystals in your house, I'm not saying which one, just look at one. Whatever you feel like you want to put under your bed, put it under your bed. I'm seeing rose quartz for some reason. So, so I would say if I was the one doing it today, I would be putting rose quartz under the bed. And that's for the heart chakra, to be able to really to open up, to be able to communicate better, maybe to the other side. Why would you say that? That's why. So they're showing the connection to open your heart, so you can be able to really relay these informations through each time zone of time and space of which we live, right? So it's sorry, I tell you, coughing is not a normal thing for me. I start doing this and I cough and I cough and I cough. And then if I have readings, it's like, I'm sorry, don't have COVID. This shit happens every damn time, so get used to it, because this bitch is gonna cough. One way or another, this bitch gonna cough. So, what should we be concerned about while manipulating dreams? You need to understand the energies within the dreams. So when you're over here working within the dreams, there is all these energy forms that are flowing, and it's showing like a wavelength. So you can be able to work in your dreams and deal with your dreams, but as soon as you start feeling something that is outside of yourself or not quite right, you need to back away, and either back away and allow the dream to start back from where you stopped it, or go away and then go somewhere else within the dream time. And each dream's different. And a lot of times people say, you've been in my dream. Well, guess what? I remember you in the dream too. Because normally when I'm dreaming, I'm normally breaking the cycle to where I can mess with the dream. So I might actually have forced myself out of my dream into your dream. And then you see me in your dream. But actually that's not, I didn't mean to force myself in your dream. I just ended up in your dream, if that makes sense. Shit happens. And a lot of times I can, like if I have intentions to do something, I can change my dream and then be able to go into somebody else's dream time and then leave them some messages. It's sort of like astral travel. And because astral travel, when you astral travel, you have to allow the energy to leave your body, the soul disconnect from the thetan, and then that's what makes the body work. And then what you do is your soul will, more than likely, what I've seen is like if you go into another room, there'll be a mirror, and then you'll see like a cord. And so I'll tell you a funny story. So my doctor friend of mine, he was telling me about his girlfriend, and this is when his mother was teaching him the Temple of Ek. They call it Temple of Ek, Ekankar. And certain aspects within the Temple of Ek, they teach soul travel. They teach the sleep paralysis. They teach all these things. So he told his girlfriend, he said, "I'm going to come see you tonight." And she's like, "How can that happen?" Well, his mother was teaching him how to astral travel out and take his soul out of his body. So he said that that night when he was sleeping, he disconnected his soul from his body, and then went into her room, and then he was over at the bed trying to wake her ass up. Well, the girl had a twin sister, right? And he was over here shaking. He's like, I couldn't get her awake. And then all of a sudden, I hear her sister start screaming, "What the fuck are you doing in here? Get out of here!" And he said, as soon as that happened, that astral knot, he looked back and he saw it. And it was through the mirror back to his bedroom, and it literally shot his soul back into his body. And he said the next day when he got to school, he said his girlfriend's sister came up to him and she said, "I don't know what the fuck you was doing in our room last night, but that was some wicked ass shit." And he looked at his girlfriend and said, "I told you I was coming to see you last night." And that's when she started getting into understanding principles of within the Ekankar. So they call it the Temple of Ek. They claim that their god Hu is the prime candidate, which I've been to the Temple of Ek before in Greensboro, and I tell you, they're a little crazy. They were sitting over there like chanting Hu for minutes, and I was like, I gotta get the fuck up out of here. These people are a little that batshit crazy, and so I didn't go back. I have studied a bunch of their books. Their books do have a lot of aspects to be able to help you understand certain aspects within deconnecting the soul. So that's going to be something else that I want to talk about to try to channel. What state of being live? What state of beings actually live in this dream state? So, like I said earlier, so these beings are able to play with time and space. So everything that we see here, so they're showing like we consider this our reality, which this reality doesn't even really exist. So if you think about it that way, they're showing like our reality of what we think is real is actually like a brain fog. So we're just stuck inside of a prison, which doesn't even exist. And then within the dream time is another reality within this reality of which we think that we're in another reality, but it's actually the same reality, but we're in a dream state, which is our higher self within this reality. You understand? That sounds a little wicked. But so with that said, they're able to interlink. So it's like they're interlinking the dream state, the astral travel state, because astral travel state, those entities can actually catch you while you're out if you go too far out, and sometimes cut your cord, and then you will not be able to reinsert your soul back into your body. So you have to make sure to listen to certain things, and that's why I wanted to get into soul travel too. So what beings are those? And they're saying they're more like an entity form that is more of a spirit, and it's like they're more of a spirit form of an entity, but the Draconians can be able to work in this realm. So they're all working in the mind, and it's all within the mind. So we're over here in dream state, and we're sitting over here living in this higher space while we're in dream space, right? But they're actually still able to manipulate certain things, and that's where we start having certain things happen. And so, are there angels that just reside in the dream state? And they said yes. So there are certain angels that reside in each state to be able to hold the harmonic energy, because we have to have good and we have to have bad, because they just showed me like the yin and the yang. So if we don't have both, there's not going to be something that we're here. So we always have to have one extreme and the other. And so with that said, I'll come through. They're showing like a hammer. It's like they're trying to. So what they're showing is if they aren't there to try to keep you on the right track during this certain state that we're in Dreamtime, then that whole reality can crack and crumble with the hammer, because it's showing like there's so many things there, but we don't really see everything. So we're only living in that dream space and doing our dream space a certain way because that's what we assume. And as we start to get into the lucid dreaming, what are things that we will start when we're inside of this lucid state? Is that going to help us in this reality when we come back and wake back up? So they're saying that everything is happening coinciding. So we're all working. So while you're working over here, if you have questions, like if you feel like something's off with somebody in your family, you can actually ask those. You can ask those angels for help and guidance, and they will be able to explain certain things while in Dreamtime to be able to fix in this reality sitting here today, if that makes sense. So there are certain things that they can be able to help us along after we wake up to be able to fix, manipulate, and or change. So now I have some more, another question here. Let me see where it is. So when people are trying to be bullies and force you into something that you don't comply, what does that stand for? It's just your subconscious now telling you. So if you have these people that are over here forcing you to comply within a dream, or doing something that you don't really feel like you should, but you went ahead and did it, it's like it's your subconscious showing you that you have been subdued. So right now you're being subdued, and you finally had it to where you're trying to get out and relay this and be able to get out and do your thing. And so there's a lot of symbology that we have to look at. And like there was one that I just had this past week where the people were, there goes a little squirrel, little baby. And so there was these people that I was in this chef's kitchen and they started bullying me. Well, they were going to like slice me up with knives if I did not agree to be the mayor of their town. So I agreed until I went out the door, and I was like, they can go fuck themselves. As soon as I did, homeboy had like this little itty bitty saw and was trying to saw my arm off. So I was trying to leave. But then what I did is I like shape shifted into the shadows of a cart, like a grocery cart, and then that's like I had the illusion to be able to be in the shadows of the grocery cart to be able to get away. So I did not comply with what they were. So a lot of different things in today, I think that could have been what I would have been doing before. So I see that I would have taken part of me out of myself if I would not have tried to figure out how to hide in the shadows of the grocery cart and run down the street, if you get what I mean. So it all has symbology to certain aspects within our life. And so we have to look at it with different eyes. And also sometimes you'll see like house numbers and stuff like that. So you'll need to look at the house numbers, pay attention to certain details. And then the house numbers maybe correlate with your house. And after you wake up, you'll realize, oh, that's I was having dreams a while back, and the house, after I went back and thought about it, was 306. And that actually correlates with my childhood home. So it's funny how certain dreams will correlate with certain things, and you don't even notice it until you really start paying attention to the certain amount of people, what happened, how many people was there. Now, why were they trying to force me in to become the mayor? It was like, okay, so these people were wanting me to be like their head honcho. And I refuse to be anybody's head honcho. I don't want to be your guru. I don't want to be your messiah. I don't want to be your, what do they call them in today's terms with like the enlightened people that see spirit and shit. They have, somebody like it. Okay, they'll do a reading for you, and then what they'll do is they'll say, okay, well, I'll give you a reading, then every week we need to catch up so I can tell you if you're on the right track, girl. I ain't doing that shit. Figure your shit out, line your shit up, get your shit together. I got too many goddamn things going on over here. Too many things over here for me to be dealing with you every week. If you want me to do it like every few months, girl, I will help you. But if it comes to every week, homeboy's got too much going on. Just like, to find time to do this, it's complicated. Because this is not a full-time job. So I'm trying my hardest here to get space. I live in an equivalent tiny home. So we have to make sure that everything is in and out of the house at certain times, and then when we start, it's a certain thing. So everybody needs to be their own guru. You need to become your guru. You need to go inside and find your space. You need to go inside and become what that Christ person's supposed to have been, and then you need to become him and be like God. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. They aren't quite connected the way that I am, so they look at me like a guru. And I ain't going to be your guru. I have been through hell and back to get where I am today. And that's why I'm here where I am today, because I went through hell and back. And you might have to go through hell and back too to get where you're at. And that's how this shit happens. We have to go through hell and back to get what the hell we need. And a lot of people are over here, well, can you do this? Can you do that? Well, yeah, I can. But I'm not going to be your little counselor. I don't have time. My mouth is way too big for that. I will tell you like it is, and I will hurt your feelings. And that shit happens, and it does quite often, actually. So I'm not that type of person. So it's either I'm going to do classes, teaching a course to make you become a guru within the Akashics or within these different arenas that I understand, or I ain't doing shit, because I'm not going to be a weekly mentor. I don't mind helping people and answering questions and stuff like that, but I can't hold your hand. I ain't going to hold nobody's hand. I don't even hold my own damn hand, and I ain't going to hold anybody else's, because I have worked too hard, and everybody else needs to work just as hard to get where they're at. And that's why people today want to always look outside of themselves. It is a Messiah complex. They always want to look outside of themselves, and this happened because that shit happened. No, it's because you fucking stupid and you don't know how to fucking stop. Shut the fuck up and get the fuck out of here. For real. I tell you, people crazy. Okay, so let's keep rolling. So, what are certain things that the people that's watching today that they need to find and really pay attention to within their dream space to be able to get certain things to be able to close and really open other doors? And they're saying that a lot of times within the dream space, there's going to be like children. And a lot of the children within the dream space is actually angelic beings. So, and some can be real people having dreams, and then a lot of the children that are in the dreams are actually angelics. And those will be able to really help you if you have questions, or if something's going on in your life and you want some answers. Because I asked them, if I'm in the dream space and if something's going down, just like that demon spirit that was in my mother's house a few years ago, that's how I was in dream space communicating with that one angel that was there with that boy, trying to figure out what we need to do. And that's how we found the shaman that sent me to Jen Dundee, because the shaman, she tried to do a clearing. That clearing fucked it up. I tell you, that girl, she tried hard. She did. It made it worse. So we called that reincarnated angel. And then she and me was working together to be able to remove it. And the thing is, if you already have a demon in your house, you remove that demon in the house, right? The thing is, if your headspace is still not right, you are still activating like that portal to be able to recreate another one, if not stronger. So that's something else that a lot of people need to understand. If you have a dark spirit or an entity like linger in your house, a lot of times you can have manifested it because you're not in the right headspace. And or somebody could have hexed your ass and put like a death spell in your family. So with blood rituals. So what a lot of times we have to understand these things is it's just a wicked. It's just to talk about these things on the camera, I sound like I'm straight up crazy, and most people probably think I am crazy, and it's okay. It is okay. Honey, I was telling my family when I first saw them damn aliens. I was like, I swear to God, I am going crazy. These fuckers are just like popping in my house and they want to talk. And I never said that they did not exist before, right? I just said, until I meet them, I am not claiming I believe in them until I know for sure, right? And people can say all the shit they want, but until I see one for myself, it ain't happening. So they showed up and I was like, okay, well, there ain't nothing I can really deny today, because they was just hanging out in my chair right over here. And then I was sitting here like, what in the hell is going on up in this piece? And they just have a straight up conversation, all of them. So, if we are in like a nightmare, what are nightmares normally what do they normally represent? It's representing the fear. So a lot of times we are trapped in certain areas within our life. And within those areas within our life, the fear that we have leads to these nightmaric moments. And if you look at those nightmares and really analyze it enough to where they're showing me like that, so you're seeing it for what that was, but really that's how you feel. So you feel like you could not be allowing yourself to get farther, or you feel like you could be trapped in a way. So your higher self is looking at it almost like a nightmare. Like myself, when I was a kid, I had a dream where there was like snakes everywhere. There would be statues of snakes on the wall, and the next thing you know, they would be falling off, and then in this alcove with water, and they just everywhere. I'm not really afraid of snakes. I prefer not to be around them. If I see them in the yard, I make sure and walk the other way. I don't normally kill them unless they're poisonous, and I don't like killing them. But the thing is, I let my dogs run off leash, so. I'm going to kill your ass if you're too close to the house. It is what it is. And I know somebody's probably going to bitch and moan on here before long about me killing a snake. So as time moves on, are these two worlds going to be colliding? So is the dream time and our reality of which we live in this current state, is it going to be more of a blend of one? So your higher self is, it's almost like the blending is starting to where we're going to start understanding that world and this world. So it's going to be more of a blend effect to where we will be able to see, analyze, and then have a true reality of the dream space. And make sure, now when you're doing it, make sure and set that alarm, because that's key. That really helped me, is setting the alarm during the day, and then every single time you look at your hands, am I awake or am I asleep? Am I awake or am I asleep? And you do that every alarm. And then by a few days of you doing it, you will be in dream time, and then you'll do the same thing. Am I awake or am I asleep in your dream time? And then you'll realize, oh shit, I'm in my dream time. And then you'll be able to start really playing with your dreams the way that I do. If you have any questions, I guess shoot them. This is the sacred tree of life, if you haven't figured this out. I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good afternoon.